All right, Ari, it's time to talk about one of the most controversial players in the country, Auburn quarterback Payton Thorne. I don't know that there's anybody who's been more maligned, I think, than Payton Thorne, including by his own coach.
I was going to say his coach is helping him out with that too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been benched. He's been brought back. He actually threw for a ton of yards against Oklahoma, but he threw one crippling pick six. And now the question is, can Payton Thorne go into Athens and give Auburn a chance against Georgia? This is interesting because I think you can argue, and it's really not even an argument, Payton Thorne gave Auburn a chance against Georgia last year. That's when they really unleashed Payton Thorne on the ground, and that game was very close. Like, Georgia eked that one out, skin of its teeth, winning that game. I don't know if that's going to be the case this time. Auburn tends to not play that well in Athens, but Payton Thorne is a fascinating quarterback because if you just look at his efficiency numbers, like he's averaging 10.2 yards per attempt, like that's awesome. If you'd have told me that 5 games into the season, Payton Thorne would be averaging 10.8 or 10.2 yards per attempt, I would tell you, oh my God, Auburn's 5-0. Can't wait to watch that Georgia game. It's going to be incredible. Instead, Auburn's 2-3, and he's got 6 interceptions. They've come at the worst possible times, but he threw for 338 yards against Oklahoma. We're talking prize picks here. His prize picks number against Georgia is 160.5. So less than half of what he threw for against a pretty good Oklahoma defense. Ari, do we think he can do it?
So I went back last year because you did mention that he got unleashed as a runner last year. He had 12 carries for 92 yards, and he actually is a more efficient runner than people give him credit for, but he only threw for 82 yards at home. And that's the thing that scares me here. We have a Georgia team that's probably foaming at the mouth, trying to get back into, not that they're out, but back into the main fixture of the national championship discussion. Kirby Smart's teams are always very ready to respond to these types of things. I just don't see the route out here. Like I don't. I think less than the total and more than the interception here is probably the play. And he has to prove that he can make it through a game against anybody without throwing a pick. And now you're going to try to tell me that he's not going to against Georgia. I just don't buy it. I don't see it.
Well, let me throw another one at you. So Prize Picks, by the way, best daily fantasy game in America. Download that app. Use the code STAPLES when you sign up. Play $5, get $50 instantly. You're picking squares, so it's a statistical category attached to a player. You decide if they're going to do more than that or less than that. Let's look at his rushing number. His rushing number is 14.5 yards in this game. And Ari, that's an interesting one because it is that one is guessing he's going to get sacked a bunch. Because remember, in college, sack yards get reduced from your rushing total. You mentioned he ran for more than 90 yards against Georgia last year. A good Payton Thorne scramble will get you this number as long as he's not taking a bunch of sacks. So I like his mobility here. That's the number I like the most. That's the one that intrigues me the most.
Yeah, he might be able to escape a sack attempt and then throw the pick to hit the more than interception square, but I don't know. I think I like to
point out, by the way, his interception square is a goblin. So Prize Picks has what they call demon squares and goblin squares. Demon squares are harder to hit and the payout is higher. Goblin squares are typically easier to hit and the payout is a little bit lower. That's a goblin square. 0.5 interceptions more than.
But I'm with you. I think that he probably goes way better than this. I think more than 14.5 rushing is going to be like all but a certainty in terms of what he's going to get in rushing attempts. It's just a matter of like, you're not betting or wondering whether or not, he's going to do that with his legs. What you're wondering is how good is Auburn going to be able to protect him and is he's going to get his head beat in?
Yeah, that's the thing. If he takes like 6 sacks, there's a good chance he's sitting there with 8 rushing yards because he's got plus 70 and minus 62. So,
and we've all seen those numbers fail, like in the NFL and in college from sacks, but in the NFL when a guy takes a knee and the total rushing yards go less than the number at the last play of the game, and it was just a kneel down. Like, it happens. But I actually think that this is the most attractive square that you can find with Payton Thorne's game coming up against Georgia.
And who knows? He could. What if he led Auburn to a win at Georgia? He'd totally redeem himself.
You know, it is Saturday. It is going to be. We are going to have a shocking thing to talk about on Saturday night when we get together, and it might be from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. I don't know, but there are a lot of games out there where it's like, where's the weirdness going to happen? Could this be it?
And nobody's thinking it's going to be at Sanford Stadium. Nobody's thinking it's going to be in this game. But guess what?
Which usually means
last year.
Yeah. And like the thing is that the thing that's great about it is that you're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to be able to predict these things. So we'll see. We'll see.
Payton Thorne, lots of interesting numbers to think about. He's got to turn it around, Ari. He's got to.
We'll see.